welcome to Scorched Earth and a general reading for the sign of Leo, Sun, Moon or Ascendant for the month of August. I hope you are well and happy birthday to you if you are an August Leo. Right. Some very strong energies around today. It is the 8th of the 8th as I record this. And I'm not sure if I really subscribe to the whole Lionsgate thing, but I have been feeling very, very strange since I got up this morning. Had a whole half an hour where I just, when I first got up, where the energy felt very, very intense and I couldn't even keep my vision straight, which was quite odd. And then it sort of faded away. And it came back very, very strongly as I'd done the meditation before I started this reading. So although I am not particularly invested in the Lionsgate as being a portal and something, you know, big that we all have to pay attention to, I can't ignore the fact that I am feeling kind of strange. I just want to caveat it and say that my late husband's birthday was actually the 8th of August, so, you know, it might just be that he's dropping in to say hello. Either way, let's get some cards out and see what's going on with you, Leo, because the energy is strong. We've got an amazing new moon in Aquarius coming up in a few days. I think it's the 11th of August. So this is a really good time, whether you're a Lionsgate believer or not. Certainly the energy is ripe around about now to start thinking about your intentions. Start thinking about some of the big changes that it feels to me like the Leo Collective is looking to make to your day-to-day, but with a view to how your day-to-day gets you to where it is that you want to go. We've got those higher goals and dreams and aspirations, but then we also have the very practical aspect of how the fuck you get to those. And it seems to me like not only are you getting a kind of clarity that might well have been missing for a little while, but there's also a bit of the fire being stoked here, getting ready for some sort of move, some sort of shift. So let's get 2 cards for Leo, please. Thank you. First card out is the High Priestess, Pisces energy for you. Current energy. We have the Knight of Pentacles, Virgo energy. What we're talking about, those day-to-day energies of how you get to your end goal, you know. And what's coming towards Leo in August, please? We have the Knight of Wands. We've got the 4 of Pentacles at the bottom of the deck here, followed by the Knight of Cups, the Magician, and Strength. All 3 of them there, you know. Strength obviously is the card of Leo, and it does feel like there's something quite strong, for the want of a better word, that is kind of pushing up from somewhere. It's almost like it's sometimes we describe things in terms of gears, right? We say, oh, I found a 6th gear and we go faster. That's not how the energy feels to me here at all. It feels torquier than that. It feels like you found a gear below 1st gear. And it's almost like, even though things are a bit challenging, even though there is quite a lot going on, even though the enormity, and I do feel like that's the thing, Leo, here, right? The enormity of the changes that you want to make, almost none of the challenges have gone away that you've had for the last few months. None of the things that were proving to be difficult have necessarily resolved themselves, but maybe you've gone from, you know, driving a little Mini to, you know, picking a really big ass fucking truck, and that 1st gear can shift a lot of things. You might not be going fast, but the power of the movement is much stronger than where you've been in the last few months. I hope that makes sense. I'm sorry to reduce it to like cars, but it's really torquey. That's the way I'm going to put it, right? So we've got that torque coming from beneath, it feels to me. And we have on top of that the Magician, the Knight of Cups, and the 4 of Pentacles. Now, This Four of Pentacles seems to be, to me, very much what you've been trying to retain. But it's bursting out here now. And what has felt like it was a bit of an immovable situation, whether that was your mindset or what you're dealing with in front of you, it's just letting it go, right? Because you're on a journey now, you're moving in a direction, and the momentum seems to be building very, very strongly here. And it all comes from following your heart, following your intuition potentially, but just really opening up to the possibilities that are starting to clunk into place. Like there's alignment. I'm talking about gears and cogs and things like that, but there's something almost mechanistic. I think that's why I keep referring to these particular kind of metaphors, right? There's something quite mechanistic about what's going on here. And so rather than this kind of freewheeling and spinning, if you dip your clutch, right, and the engine disengages from the gearbox and that, and you've got that spinning going on, what you seem to be doing is connecting into that really torquey gear, where even though there's a lot of weight to move, and even though you found the power to do it, and everything is just clunking into the right place, and there's movement, and there's big movement coming here. And even the magician is pulling the same thing here, right? Things are moving. I hope that this makes sense. It's the best way that I can put it. It's certainly the best kind of metaphor I feel like I can engage. And we're going with the Knight Sun Tarot to clarify, which is a big deal in and of itself. So and it feels like it's validating this position that I've taken, that it's a lot of big energies coming through here, right? Because this is a deck generally that I tend to use as my main deck. It's not one that likes to be subjugated to the level of clarification. It's the big energies that are moving along underneath. So here's what we see on the top: the Knight of the High Priestess, the Knight of Pentacles, the Knight of Wands. What is the undercurrent going on? Well, let's have a look. So tell me about the High Priestess, please. Thank you. We have the Ten of Pentacles and we have the King of Pentacles right there. Tell me about the Knight of Pentacles, please. Amazing. We have the Devil in reverse. Interestingly, we also have the Three of Pentacles in reverse. And tell me about the Knight of Wands. We've got the Ace of Swords and the Two of Wands. I feel like I'm going to be pulling at least one more card for that. So, Nine of Wands on the bottom of the deck here, followed by the High Priestess. Hello, there she is. So she's come up twice for you in a very few, set of cards here. Two decks, High Priestess out twice. The Nine of Wands, beg your pardon, is often a card that we associate with resilience, and sometimes boundaries. I talk about boundaries quite a lot when we see the Nine of Wands. But the interesting thing is, the feeling that I'm getting off this reading is more Eight of Wands. So we've got the momentum coming from the Eight of Wands, right? That's what that card's all about there. We often see those wands coming in at quite a steep trajectory, right? Fuck, something's about the land. But I feel like that's the energy as has been around you. And the making sense of it, the point where you've got the clarity, the point where this lower gear seems to have been kicking in really strongly, is taking those 9 wands and fashioning them into something that works for you. I was talking about the 9s being about the individual rather than the collective, which for me is the 10. Now, as a fire sign, using the wands, using your experience and pushing yourself into experiential learning is always the way that fire signs are going to progress, right? You look a fire sign in its house, give it like agoraphobia or something like that. Like a fire sign just cannot deal with that at all. You've got to be out there, you've got to be doing things, you've got to be experiencing things, and you need to be referring to your past experiences to help guide you through. But we've got the High Priestess appearing here as well, and the High Priestess to me feels very much like it's an energy of tapping in. Right? The High Priestess is always about the internal experience, the internal wisdom. I've just noticed we've got a Tower of the Abyss card in there. Let's just pop that down there. It is about using your intuition, yes, but it's also about opening up to hear what is being said to you. Now, we often think that communication from the universe, right, is going to come via standing on a hill in Peru and just having a beam of light, you know, just transmitting information into your head. But the reality of it is not actually how it works for most people. For most people, it is a song that comes on the radio that makes you think of a thing that you haven't thought of in a long time. You know, it's somebody bringing up something completely unrelated to anything that you might have spoken about before, that starts your mind working in a particular way. You know, sometimes a funny feeling of deja vu that some of you might have had. But the point is, like, the universe sends agents, sends actors who are, you know, delivering something to you. And if you are open to hearing it, everyone and everything becomes a messenger to you. And that feels to me like it's the kind of experience that you've been having. So you have been talking to the right people, and the things that they are bringing up is relevant to you and what you're kind of trying to work through at the moment. Maybe you've been reminded of a point where you were doing something, you know, that you've just completely forgotten about, and you're like, oh shit, I did used to do that thing, I've completely forgotten about it. You know, it's a skill, or maybe a body of knowledge that has been lying there dormant for a little while because your attention moved to something else. The thing is, 10 of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles together, there's something very solid that you are looking to formulate from what has been coming through. I think a lot of Leos are overhauling their pentacle existence, whatever that is. So for some people, it will literally be your finances. For others, it will be the security that your finances bring. So it'll be where you live. It'll be what you do as a job, you know. For others of you still, it is your long-term goals. And the King of Pentacles is an incredibly supportive energy, because 10 Pentacles just don't come along by themselves, not often, unless you're getting an inheritance or something like that, right? The Pentacles take a while to amass. And the archetype that you want overseeing that is the King of Pentacles, because he's got that long-term goal. Right? He's not in it for a short time. He knows where he's going, and he takes this, you know, maybe slow a little bit, you know, slow progression, but consistent. Doesn't take any shortcuts, right? He does things by steps. The thing that's been missing for you, I think, is working out what those steps are. But I feel like everything's getting overhauled with you. You know, it could be to do with family, the structure of your family, that's possible. But there's a lot of long-term planning that's coming in, or rather, not long-term planning, long-term goals that are going to require some consistent effort from you and a plan as to how you make them come together, you know? And it's all coming out underneath this queen, not queen, I mean, she is totally a queen, right? But the High Priestess. All of the information that you've been kind of, you know, absorbing, the people that you've been speaking to, might have even been a Taurus, right? Certainly there's some earth sign energy all over. In fact, all 3 earth signs are indicated here on the table. Maybe you've been talking to some of those people, and maybe the thing that's been missing from your plan is that earth element to it, right? It's how you literally, in the day-to-day, work out how the fuck you get from here to your grand fire vision, whatever it is, up there. Now, when we move into your current energy, we've got the Knight of Pentacles. Now, it's the Virgo aspect of the Earth trifecta that's appearing here for you on the table. And it's literally that. It's about how you get from where you are now to where you want to be. The Knight of Pentacles is the slowest moving knight in the deck, but he is the one that brings consistency and commitment to a cause, to a plan, whatever it is, right? the King of Pentacles needs to visualize it. He needs to know where it's, he needs to understand that he actually has all of the skills that he needs in order to bring something about. And it is by the long-term vision of the King of Pentacles that this Ten of Pentacles arises. There's a lot about delayed gratification here, Leo, which is not something that we're terribly happy about. But commitment and consistency are carried across all of these here. Ten of Pentacles, King of Pentacles, Knight of Pentacles. There's movement. It might not be happening as fast as you would like, but there is certainly movement here with the Knight of Pentacles. It's about getting the details right. It's about not skipping any steps. It's about not tarnishing your pentacle. Now, whether this is in terms of a plan that you have, like a literal concrete plan, I'm going to make £50,000 by the end of 2023, something like that, right? From a business idea that I have. Or something to do with, you know, where it is that you live. Like the way that you live, the way that you work, possibly, maybe even the way that you undertake relationships. I mean, maybe you are ready to really commit to something now, but there are things along the way that are going to need ironing out. You know, sometimes we Leos, we're kind of bound headfirst into relationships, and then we're like, fuck, you know, after a little bit of time, now the honeymoon period is worn off, we're like, oh shit, kind of went face first into a wall with this one, right? There's not really anywhere for this to go. And then sometimes we'll stick with that for a long time because we're not quite sure how to get out of it. Whereas if we had taken a more slow, measured progression into this relationship, what could have been issues, minor issues in the beginning, could have been dealt with in a way that was not at all, you know, confrontational, just that finding that point of compromise where you are integrating your life with someone else. And then get to a point where that longevity of the relationship is actually possible. And I'm kind of throwing all of these out as possibilities because I want you to see how it applies across the board. Obviously, you must take it as it resonates to you, and I feel like you will know what this is referring to, right? So the cards that are clarifying that, the Devil, Capricorn energy there, and the Three of Pentacles, both of them showing up in the reverse, which is fascinating. The first one makes a lot of sense straight off the bat because it is the Devil. Again, whatever way this reading is talking to you, whether it is about relationships, whether it is about your, you know, home environment, work environment, your mindset, whatever it is, this speaks to being trapped in a state of toxicity, right? The Devil works via illusion. So he makes you feel like you are stuck. He makes you feel like you can't do it any other way. And you go, oh yes, you're right. Well, I'll just sit here and be helpless about it, right? But he's shown up in the reverse. And this clarity that I was referring to, this fog that seems to have lifted, this other gear, this lower gear that you seem to have found, where you can move fucking mountains if you put your mind to it, Leo, seems to be engaging here. And there's a loss of fear. There's a loss of, well, you know, maybe you've pulled that consent away from the Devil and gone, right, okay, well, I have been stuck in a mindset of X, Y, and Z. And actually, there are all sorts of options that are open to me, and they might not have been the ideal. They might not have been exactly what I was after, but maybe I was attaching myself to an outcome that wasn't really for me. Maybe I was just attaching to an outcome full stop. And we do that, Leos. I think that we do that as a thing. And when the outcome doesn't come quite as we have planned it, sometimes we'll ignore it and decide that it has no value at all. The interesting thing for me is where this Three of Pentacles comes in, because I see two different ways of looking at that. And the first one is very specifically to the fact that it is the Night Sun Tarot that we are using, because that's what it looks like there. We have a dude and he's pointing here. So what is he pointing at? He's pointing at the Devil. And we can see a very clear message of you refusing to cooperate with the Devil anymore, refusing to collaborate in your own restriction by letting the Devil have his way. Maybe you're not doing it, right? And so what it is that's holding you back, then obviously being you, obviously being your own state of helplessness, which comes from very restricted thinking about things, right? Everything's kind of, you feel to me like you're pulling out a little bit and you're seeing the wider picture, which is something that the devil doesn't want you to do. He wants you to focus on the little things that you feel like you can't change, because then you feel like you're incapable of changing anything at all. Not so. Taking our power back from the devil, refusing to work with him anymore, saying like, no, not happening, we're not doing it. The other way of looking at this is that actually there's something that you need to work on personally. Maybe you've been trying to pull people in on something. Maybe you've been feeling like you couldn't progress unless you got other people in X, Y, and Z. Right? Again, take it as it resonates to you. And that actually the reality of the situation is that it does require you to do something on your own. This is not to say that people can't be around and people can't be a support, but with regard to this specific thing, it's nothing to do with anyone else, right? And we're kind of coming back to this idea that it is just about you. There is something in you that needs to be shifting. There's something in you that needs to change. There's something in you that has been stuck and is getting unstuck very quickly. Now, when we move into August, we're here. We have this Sagittarian energy of the Knight of Wands, and I like this because it means things are kicking up a gear. You know, we've got here the groundwork that has happened for you with the Ten of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles, like the understanding of what those things actually are, the value of whatever your pentacle is, your long-term plans, your long-term goals. And then we've had in the present energy the movement, like the consistent movement in creating that foundation. But you're not an earth sign. You might have some earth bits in your chart somewhere, but you are a fire sign, so it is about doing. It isn't necessarily about following that one step after the other. The Knight of Wands indicates movement, and it indicates very swift movement in the doing of things. So what has been in the planning stages is kicking up a huge, a considerable notch in August. And it's clarified by this Ace of Swords and Two of Wands. I think you're going to be hit with idea after idea, inspiration, connection in the month of August. It's like all of the pennies are suddenly dropping. All of the pieces are coming into place. We have this Two of Wands here, which does indicate a crossroads. And so it speaks about the fact that you're going to have to go in a direction. But the Knight of Wands says you're going to do it. At this point, you've done all of the groundwork. Now it's time to bring a bit of the fire magic into it, right? This is where things just spin on a sixpence for you. Opportunities arrive and you say yes to them in a way that, maybe as an earth sign wouldn't, because it doesn't form part of the plan. It's going on that kind of intuition. It's going on that instinct. I want to pull another couple of cards because I do feel like there's a lot more here, and we'll talk about that in the video. Interesting. Six of Cups. Yeah, we'll talk about that in the extended. We have here the Fool, okay, and the Queen of Swords. The Nine of Cups is at the bottom of the deck, and I think that this has been really important because I think a lot of what Leo's been going through in the last few months is trying to work out exactly what it is that makes them happy. It's kind of pulling yourself away from the devil, going, I don't have time to be afraid of anything anymore. I don't have time to be feeling stuck. What is going to get me towards my goals, my wishes? Like, how do I want to feel? Because sometimes it's not about hitting the goals. Sometimes it's about being really comfortable, being really content with your ability to be able to be fluid, be able to move, and enjoy what you have, rather than feeling like it's something out there that I've got to have and then it will be better, Six of Cups, Fool and the Queen of Swords coming out together. I like this. Because the Six of Cups is coming underneath the Ace of Swords, which means inspiration is coming to you from your past experiences. And we like that, right? Experience, particularly for fire signs, being the greatest teacher. But we have the Fool coming out, right? Where you are going, it doesn't feel to me is necessarily particularly set. There are lots of ways to succeed at things, and you don't have to take the beaten path on any of those. More, it needs to be something that is in alignment with the wisdom that you have gained through the life that you have lived so far, right? So it's almost a case of you need not to be asking people for advice this month. You need to be paying attention to how you feel about things and move from that place, right? The Fool is asking you to trust what is happening. I wonder if we might see this come up in the extended, that things might rattle a bit, they might get a little bit unstable, but this is good because it's kind of rattling loose the irritating stones that are stopping things from sitting together properly. I think you know what I mean there, Leo. I'm quite certain of it. When you try and put one flat stone on top of another and there's just that little bit of irritating something that's stopping it sitting and it's just kind of tilted, you can brush that out from underneath and it stands completely level. You need that base in order to go off in a direction. I think there might be something a little bit unstable, destabilizing, that's coming in August. But with the Queen of Swords, thinking about it very clearly, and I like the fact that the Queen of Swords is here because she's helping you sift through a lot of things that are coming to the surface this month. She's also helping you pick your next step forwards. Oh, it might be a Libra that you've got talking to you about it, but I really don't feel like it is. I feel like all of this is going on inside of you, and there is a knowing. There is a knowing that is matched with an understanding, a very clear understanding of why things are happening the way that they are. And then the action that is coming from these Wands cards is coming from this Fool card. The message for you is to trust. Whatever happens this month, it's taking you towards this. And this is your goal. Not to have, you know, necessarily a Ten of Pentacles sturdy kind of corner of the universe that is yours and you know it inside out. Like it feels like the future contains much more uncertainty for you than that, but it is taking you down a path that you are supposed to walk. And the faith that you have in yourself and the trust that you have built in yourself over the course of since the start of the year is critically important to where you go next, because some of it is going to require you to spin on a sixpence, go off in an entirely different direction, and have the courage and the faith in yourself to be able to do that. I think this is a very exciting month, and I'm actually really excited to get into the extended. So if you would like to join me over there, the link is down in the description box. Alternatively, you could come and join my Patreon community. The link is also down in the description box for that. It means you can access all of the extended content. So you can look at your moon or your rising, Mars, Venus, whatever you like. But if not, trust and faith, very important things. And paying attention to you rather than what other people, well, that might be very well-meaning advice, but I think that it has to be very kind of solo this month. You've got to do the right thing for you. It'll have the effect of doing the right thing for everybody else, but first it's got to be for you. And when these opportunities come up, when these crossroads appear, don't be afraid to take the less travelled path if it's the one that feels right for you. Very interested. Going over to Vimeo now. So know that I love you all very, very much, and I'll see you soon.